There's a long story to what precipitated my being sent off to boarding school when I was 7 years old. But, when I got there, this was the 60s. There was a lot of hippie energy. And I had a homeroom teacher. And I'm just going to call him John because, you know, I'm sure this is a part of his life that he would like to live down. But, he was definitely a free spirit. And he played us the rock opera Tommy. And let me clarify by saying this. This was an extremely conservative school that I went to. And it was a very brutal one. And I was there for 5 years. As a matter of fact, I was there longer um, than any other student that was there at the time. And there was abuse. The school, quite frankly, at that time, if it had been now, would have been closed down for a lot of the things that happened, the beatings, etc., from teachers and other students, just, emulating the behavior of those that were supposed to teach them. But John was a very different kind of teacher. Um, he believed in exploring boundaries and parameters, etc. I mean, when we would have a 15-minute break in class, we'd be climbing on the cabinets, getting inside his philosophy on this. It's like if you're going inside of, the cabinet, you're getting used to darkness. If you're climbing up on them, you're getting used to heights. He was really enlightened in a lot of ways, but he was also a very sensitive individual. And, he watched this abuse around him and just the way the students were being treated. And, he was called out a couple of times by the headmaster in front of the class, which is something that no headmaster should do. But, he was somebody that had a degree in physical education that really had no business running a school. It's as simple as that. He got it because his father had been the headmaster for like 30, 40 years. But, so, I'm new to this experience. I'm coming out of the cloister, of a tropical paradise going into this kind of Oliver Twist brutality. And the food was often like gruel. Um, but anyway, I'm sitting there. The headmaster had three daughters and a wife that we called Pickle Puss. She was one of the most uptight people I've ever known. Um, but anyway, all of a sudden, John comes through the doors, and this is when we're sitting down for dinner, and he's completely naked. And he comes in singing Sally, Sally, sitting on a toilet seat. And then he launches into Bless the Lilies of the Field, Amen, and he's clapping. And the headmaster can't make up his mind what he wants to do. He's trying to cover his daughter's eyes, and you just can't with two hands cover three sets of eyes. Pickle spit her tea all over the table. And I thought it was part of the entertainment, to be quite honest with you. And no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't catch him. And finally they said to all of us, like, go to the gymnasium. Dinner was very short that night. But it was a sadness watching somebody, and it's something that I can identify with. Somebody because of sensitivity, on the verge of breaking, on the verge of snapping. I'm getting better at it. I really am, as far as taking the punches that life is offering to other people. I'm an empath, and the one thing as an empath and a shaman that it took me a long time to learn how to do is to displace. But, a lot of people, hear this story and they're like, well, that was just freaky, that was wrong, etc. Nudity in front of children. In my world, we don't really have the same hang-ups about the physical self that puritanical America does. That's for certain. But, I look back on that, and honestly, John remains one of my favorite teachers. Um, he, in a short period of time, like a month out of my life, he introduced me to so much. And granted, running naked around a dining hall in a conservative private school, singing Sally, Sally, sitting on a toilet seat, that's a hallmark moment, to be sure. But I remember writing to my mother about it, and I couldn't spell naked, so I spelled bare, Bare. She still has the letter. But at that point, the headmaster called me into his office and he said, "You're going to be a problem too, aren't you?" And I was like, "Too, as in John?" Um, because I would write about the things that I would see and reflect on. And, I'm sure that John has dealt with, in his life a lot of shame over what happened. And he's out there somewhere. And I just want him to know he made a difference in my life. And you did.